entity subjected to the law of birth, death, old age, and disease. So yes, these are the miseries of materialist existence, janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosa anudarshanam. Nobody can eliminate those miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease by material means. But if we become Krishna conscious and realize our eternal spiritual identities, then no more repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. And that's what we want. Sometimes people argue, well, what's wrong with material life? But if you ask them, well, do you want to die? No. Do you want disease? No. Do you want to grow old? No. But that's material life. So what's wrong with material life? Well, to begin, birth, death, old age, and disease. The materialistic way of pious activities, like charity, is recommended in the Smriti Shastras, as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmin. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahmin, without Brahminical qualification, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. If it is given in charity to a half-educated Brahmin, any half-educated Brahmins in the house? Even then, the money is returned double. Not bad. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmin, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplication. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vedaishcha sarvair aham eva vedyo, that by all the Vedas, he is to be known. So if one is a Veda Paraga who has realized the purpose of the Vedas, in other words, Krishna, and money is given to him, and Srila Prabhupada is certainly an example of a Veda Paraga, the money is returned by unlimited multiplication. Now, how is that possible? Because everything in the material world is limited. It may be very big, but it has some limit. So, for the money to be returned by unlimited multiplication, it really means that we have to go to the spiritual world. Once Srila Prabhupada visited Hong Kong, and his disciples picked him up from the airport in a Rolls-Royce limousine, and then took him for a press conference at the penthouse suite of the Hilton Hotel. So one of the reporters asked him, "You're supposed to be a spiritual person. Why did you ride in a Rolls-Royce limousine?" And Srila Prabhupada replied, "Actually, I am a resident of the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, everything is made of transcendental gems. So even if they had picked me up in a Rolls Royce made of solid diamonds, it would not have been good enough. So you're asking me why I rode in a Rolls Royce limousine? The answer is because that was the best they could offer. So the point here, I mean, there are many levels to what Srila Prabhupada said, but the point is that the unlimited return we get by giving to a fully realized devotee of Krishna can be experienced in the spiritual world. In other words, it more or less guarantees it will go to the spiritual world. So yeah, if the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmin, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, one who's actually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplication. The ultimate end of Vedic knowledge is realization of the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa Sarvaya Aham Eva Vedya. There is guarantee of monies being returned if given in charity, regardless of the proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for returning home back to Godhead. This is so potent, hearing and chanting about Krishna. It says even a moment. Madhama gatva punar janma navidyate. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one who attains his abode does not have to take birth again in the material world. In other words, a devotee of the Lord is guaranteed eternal life. A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life. So this is a very important point. It's related to what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosanu Darshanam, that to be aware of the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease is part of the process of knowledge. And here it's a similar idea. Devotees' old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life, because that old age and disease remind us that the body is not a happy place. The material world is not our real home. And we should utilize our time to become Krishna conscious so that we can enter that realm where there is no birth, death, old age, and disease. And of course the verse has emphasized Uttama Shloka Vartaya, topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. And chanting the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead also brings the same result, and that is very easy and pleasant to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So are there any questions or comments? Yes, Vinod Bihari. But I only started at 12 after. No, seriously, I only started at 12 after, so they might give me 12 more. Tell Chirag.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Question of death. You have mentioned death is a material infection of the living entity. And how did you cope the death untimely of Prabhupada? Number one. Number two, talking of the time and tide, I had my boss who passed away. I worked for him for 22 years. Very nice boss and very friendly too. He was in the auspices 2 years ago, and I went there to see him, and he was very glad to see me. Then he said, "Come tomorrow and see me." And the tomorrow never came. Before I was ready to go, I was halfway by the time he passed away. And I have a great regret in my life that I missed the chance. And number two, it always bothers me that, why could I not go there? And could you please tell me how to remove that botheration or his regret I have? It bothers me that such a nice person was that, and I could not go and see him at the time of death. Please explain a little bit so that I may in the future not bother my conscience. It is still haunting me all the time that such a nice person, I couldn't have the association at the final time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, I will extract from your very personal question some general principles that may be useful for all of us. But the time of death is considered the final exam. And we're successful in passing the final exam if we can remember Krishna at the time of death. So the best thing that we can do for anyone who is leaving his or her body is to chant the holy names with them so that they can ideally chant the holy name at the time of death, or at least be hearing the holy name. And then, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smaram bhavam, in whatever state of mind you leave your body, to that state you will attain without fail. So if you leave your body in Krishna consciousness, you will attain Krishna. And we should not delay. It's I think stated in Ramayana, Shubhasya Shigram, that something auspicious should be done at once. So it's true, we don't know how much time we have, so we shouldn't procrastinate in our Krishna consciousness, and we don't know how much time another person has, so we shouldn't delay in doing good for them, spiritually especially. And as far as you, my dear Amarendra Prabhu, I would say that, try to go deeper in your chanting. And if you hear of anyone who is in need of help or whom just on your own you want to help, then don't delay. Let's do it immediately. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
In the spiritual world, uh, the, uh, it is chariot full of all great diamonds and those things. Is there a kind of is there any material stuff in the spiritual world?
No, there's nothing material in the spiritual world.